Hello, welcome to Ebony's Date with a Dish. I am Stephanie Johnson. Now, Date with a Dish is nothing new. It's been around for decades, and we are happy to bring it back in partnership with Coke. Now, today we're in the beautiful Windy City, Chicago, with a group, all these beautiful Black business owners, and we can't wait to dish with them. So let's get started, shall we? I'm gonna kick it off. My neighbor right here. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm good. How are you, Steph?
Angela Myers, the Angela Myers of So Soap Simple owns it.
Yes.
I have to say that about 10
Yes,
times.
I have to say it about 10 times every day. I'm so excited to be here, everyone. So my question is for you, how did you get started? What inspired you, and what challenges have you had along the way?
Well, I am the owner and creative director of a women's clothing brand here in Chicago, Ariel and Belle, and I got started, I love to shop, so why not do, turn a business into something that I love. I went to school for fashion merchandising, and I loved it, and I found a hole in the market where I was unable to find things that I wanted and I liked, and I didn't want to dress like anyone else. So in true form of, who I am, I just decided to go ahead and just kick it off on my own.
So for me, I own an after-school learning center in a suburb outside of Chicago. And I knew as a principal that children needed assistance beyond the school day. And so the goal is to help students reach their educational needs. And in the traditional school setting, it's difficult to do that. We all know what teachers are faced with. So what we do, we help students bridge the gap and meet their needs. And the journey has been incredible. I started in 2015. We made it through the pandemic.
Nice.
Yeah, we're all bravo, applaud. And so, and the journey continues because we always know that students, educational needs should be met.
Sure.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Ryan, and I am founder and CEO of Alchemy Health. And Alchemy is a mental health platform specifically focused on the Black community. The why I started it, so my background is in athletics. Played football my entire life, more specifically 8 years in the NFL. When I left the NFL, I was hurt, damaged, and didn't know what to do with my life, facing a lot of anxiety, depression, identity issues. And when I went out into the marketplace to go see a therapist, I had a very bad experience. And ultimately it took me about 4 or 5 tries to get it right, if you will, find that therapeutic alliance. And during that whole process, I was thinking, I've been blessed and fortunate to have resources, and yet and still I'm having problem getting the help that I need. So imagine what's going on the south and west side of Chicago, what's happening on the north side of Pittsburgh and the east side of Detroit. And thought to myself, I'm well positioned to do something about it. And also during this time, my family is going through a laundry list of chronic disease and illness, type 2 diabetes amputation, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's and dementia, so on and so forth. And I'd been in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and entrepreneurs look for big problems to solve. And I asked myself one very simple question. I said, who is focused on the trajectory of Black health? The answer came back, nobody. And so, here's how the scale weighs out. Like, we are the most influential community globally, but we are also one of the most at-risk and sickest communities globally. And that's a huge imbalance. And so at Alchemy, we are focused on becoming a universal healthcare provider for the Black community, but again, that's rooted in mental health because we believe that a healthy life starts with a healthy mind.
Yes.
I do have a follow-up question, Kenny. What keeps you inspired?
Well, really being able to give back to the Black community. We could be in any given city, and it's always hard to find where we're going to eat, where we're going to hang out, where we're going to party. And Chicago is probably one of the worst cities in America for that. I come from the DMV. I moved here 25 years ago from DC.
Okay.
And I lived in Virginia. I went to University of Virginia. I kind of started all this back then at UVA, throwing parties. I remember a bunch of my friends and people you always used to say, that's Kenny, he's throwing parties for $5. but now you need a job and you call me. I always saw it as a way to help us, for us. I don't mind if white folks come to my places, but I'm not going out to seek them. And sometimes people say, you should, be more welcoming to them and all that. And maybe I should be. But at the end of the day, my places are built for us. Black folks have supported me forever. That's why I do it, to give black and brown people opportunities in the kitchen, in the front of the house, on the management side. Hopefully some people won't be with me forever. They'll get inspired enough to go open up their own joints. So that's why I do it, just so people can see a young black guy, even though I'm 51 now, that has
Still
loved
young.
doing
That's
this.
still young.
Thank you. Thank you. That they've seen do this and go through the hardships. You know, it's not easy being a brother in Chicago doing this business, getting liquor licenses and going through these processes. And everybody knows that. But you know, we weathered the storm and we're still here. We've been here for a very long time. We have 3 places now, working on some more. So hopefully we can just keep inspiring people to keep supporting us, and then I can keep helping give people opportunities for their families.
Nice.
Well, what keeps me inspired is the fact that I have always desired to see and have and do more. I was fortunate enough to be brought up in a large village and community where I saw a lot of successful African Americans, first generation college graduates and things, and so they always pulled back and inspired us. So it's like, not if you're going to college, which college are you going to? And so, you know, I am inspired because I want to keep that same momentum to the generations behind me by example, by leading by example. Everyone's always looks for inspiration, and sometimes it's right in front of you, or you are the inspiration yourself. So I would like to, you know, I'm inspired because I would love to see and do more with life and give that opportunity to others.
So I'm wondering, this is for anyone at the table, I won't pick anyone, but like thinking back, I mean, we're all established in our very own right. What do you wish you knew then? If you know, take yourself back, or your fresh business owner self, what do you wish you knew then that you know now? That's for anybody. Take a sip.
I'll jump in.
Sure.
I would say marketing. Knowing really to have a strategy at it, and a plan, a doable plan, and a budget set aside specifically for marketing, because oftentimes you know you need to do it, but you don't know what you're getting into specifically. And with social media, understanding the cost, because oftentimes people think, oh, that's free, you can do online.
Yeah.
And so no. So, you know, really knowing that, starting off, I think would have been critical.
I would say hiring. If there's like a magic hiring handbook, I want it.
And then share it with me.
Yeah, like I have a saying, people will people. Man, it is, it's a challenging deal to hire, but you know, ultimately what I look at, what we all do is like building a culture, right? Like you have a culture here, we all have cultures at our business. And so making sure that, you know, not only can people actually do the job, but are they the right people to be working here? That's really what kind of matters, is like, you know, skills in some contexts can be a commodity, but like, you know, who are you as a person? And I think even more so, like in this environment that we're living in, like who you are as a person really matters. And it's really starting to show up. So I'm learning about hiring. I don't know if I ever stop learning about hiring, but you know, I would definitely tell my younger self to always keep that top of mind.
Yeah. I love people will people.
They will.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes I will people. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Sometimes I am people, but you know, there's that too.
What would each of you, right, say to your younger self those years ago when you were just getting started in business?
I think I would essentially tell myself, like, just don't give up. No matter how hard it may seem, what it may look like. I'm in the retail market. So it's, you know, it may seem oversaturated at times, but, you know, just don't give up. And I mean, to start a business, it takes, you know, a lot of drive, will, determination. Like I was working and doing everything else, corporate America-wise, when I started my business. So, I mean, it all pays off in the end is what I would tell myself.
I would probably tell myself to not be afraid, to just do it, try it. I mean, you'll never know if you never try.
I got a different look at it. I probably wouldn't tell myself anything because I feel like the experiences really shape you and make you who you are. And I think that if you know how hard it is, it might be discouraging in the beginning. So I'm just grateful for things happening organically.
I love that. I love that. We always spend so much time planning.
Absolutely.
But then letting it unfold as life gives it to you is
That's it.
beautiful.
That's
That's
it.
wonderful. What about you, Ryan?
I was actually thinking something somewhat similar, but I have like a fundamental belief around life that everything happens the way it should. So, you know, along those lines of not giving away too much, you know, good, bad, or indifferent, it happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And, you know, my job and responsibility is to figure out what the next step is moving forward.
So as entrepreneurs, what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced?
I believe piggybacking off what you said earlier is just finding good mentorship and people seeing you not as competition, but somebody that genuinely just wants to help you. Raising capital seems like it's been a challenge in the beginning. So those two for me.
I would say, because I own the Learning Center, meeting the expectations for parents. Because they're paying, sometimes they would like miracles instantly for their children, their scholars. And so I have to, remind them that baby steps count and growth is important, and we'll get to the goal, but it will take time.
Yes.
Well, to wrap it up, and we are coming into this season, so I want to know, what is everyone's favorite holiday memory?
For me, I think it's always the nostalgia of picking the Christmas tree. I was born in the South. I love Chicago. I've been here a long time, so Chicago is definitely home now, but I still love the smell of pine trees and picking the tree and the excitement. And now that tradition, I have a 7-year-old daughter, Blake, and I get to pass that on to her.
My favorite moment is literally being able to do nothing. We're not open on the holiday,
Yes.
whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then just being able to see the joy of my kids when we go to Washington, D.C. to see the rest of my family.
For me, visiting the Walnut Room, for those who are truly Chicagoans, in Marshall Field, which is now Macy's. So it holds on to me near and dear from a very fancy aunt that I had, that took me, and my mother said created a monster, but took me to these places, and exposed me. And so it brings back, as a child, going there, having lunch, and looking at the decorations at Marshall Fields. And, still to this day, we know Macy's is New York, but we'll always have love for Marshall Fields.
Marshall Field.
Yeah.
Back down memory.
For me, it was just the transition of being a kid and getting everything that you wanted to to having kids and giving them the things that they want. So that brings me great joy.
So on the flip side, I volunteer on Thanksgiving, and which is why I tend to eat different types of dinners, because I've smelled food for 4 to 5 hours in the morning. You can only smell so much turkey. But one of the best things about it, I volunteered at the same place for like the last 8 or 9 years. And there are people, and these are not all like homeless people. It's at a church on the northwest side of the city, and these people, they'll travel from all over in order just to come together and fellowship and have a meal together. And there are these 3 older gentlemen that I see every year. And the last time that I seen him, one of them was sick and he didn't make it. But there were 3 of them, and one of them's from New York, and they get so excited to see me every single year. So even though I don't even know what their names are, they're like family to me. Yeah. And they're so much fun, and I have some friends who aren't from here and don't live here anymore, so I have to FaceTime them for them to see the guys. It's such an experience.
Fun.
So it's a highlight for me.
Yeah,
sure.
Amazing. Shoot, this dessert is so good, the company's so good, the networking so good. I hate to say goodbye, but it's been so awesome.
Yes.
Fellowship
Yes.
all of y'all here. And thank you, Mr. Kenny, for hosting us at Bureau Bar here in Chicago. Make sure y'all check that out. Thank you so much. And that's it. That's all we have from the beautiful windy city of Chicago. Ebony's Date with the Dish, in
partnership with Coke, and we hope you enjoy the conversation, and we'll see you next time.